I am super excited because in today's episode, we're going to learn all about the awesomely fun card game Dark Dealings with designer Michael Kelly. There's combat, there's drafting. Stick around. Right off the get-go here, just the genesis of Dark Dealings, the design inspiration, I guess you'd say, is how'd you come up with it?
It was a mishmash of things, honestly. At this point, it's a fantasy survival game, kind of akin to a tower defense video game. At the very beginning, it actually began as a sort of bureaucracy experiment, borrowing some mechanics from For Sale, which is one of my favorite fillers. The combat mechanic I figured out almost immediately. Like I knew that probably day one, and it's not changed at all since then. But the drafting, the bidding, some of the things in the theme, some of the powers. I actually got a lot of ideas from Richard Launius. He played it at one of the unpublished game conventions and gave me some good suggestions. So that was great. So these heroes are the guys attacking you. This is the hero deck. So it's kind of like a Dungeon Lords, Dungeon Keeper kind of theme here. They each have a few numbers. The armor up here, and there's a prototype art, by the way, not the beautiful art Rob Lundy's done. The armor is the value you basically have to do, how much damage you have to do to defeat them. You've got three types of defenses, which we'll get to in a second. Magic, traps, and monsters you can attack them with. So the weaker heroes are vulnerable to all three of them. Strong heroes are vulnerable to only one or two types, which adds a lot of the tactical thinking into the game. You have in the base set 6 different types of heroes, each with their own little special ability. With Kickstarter, if you do the deluxe pledge level, which is only $5 more, you've already got one more free hero, and I think in a couple more days we should unlock another free hero for the deluxe level pledgers. So you're going to have 8 heroes right out of the get-go. And then finally, this is important for the second phase of the game. You have this challenge value. It goes from 1 to 54 since there's 54 heroes. And that basically gauges like how strong a hero is. So this thief, because he can only be hit by magic and has a pretty high armor, he's very tough. This berserker, even though his armor is pretty high, is fairly easy to defeat because of his 3 vulnerability. So he's a much lower challenge value. The basic idea is you'll have 9 hero cards to start out. You'll take 2 in sort of a 7 wonders-ish draft, pass the rest on to the next player. Take 2 more, pass it on, take 2 more, pass it on, take 2 more. You'll end up with 8 heroes total, discarding 1 at the end.
You're trying to draft heroes that are weaker. Is that correct?
Well, that's where it's fun, because that would seem like the obvious choice, but nothing's obvious here, and it has some really great decision making you have to do. So you got to think about a lot of stuff. First of all, you want the heroes with the lowest armor value, because that just means they're going to be a little bit easier to kill. Within each type, they have a range of 3 numbers. So thieves are 3, 4, or 5. So this is a stronger thief. Elves are 5, 6, 7. Knights are 6, 7, 8. So they kind of go up and down in values. You got the vulnerabilities, and you have the challenge value. Now, you're going to be bidding with your heroes on the defense cards, which you'll actually use to fight them. And some of the defense cards are very strong. I actually have all pretty strong ones here. And what you're looking at basically is cards will have between 1 and 3 strikes. That's what these little spots are on the sides. And that's their attack value, how much damage they'll do to a hero. So, for example, to defeat this 6 armor berserker, I got to combine strikes to do at least 6 damage to him, and they can come from green, blue, or red cards. So I could, for example, strike with this 4 trap and this 4 monster. Would have done my at least 6 damage, and I'd defeat him. So you're using the heroes to bid on these. What you'll do is, and this is where we kind of borrowed from For Sale, you'll have double the number of players' defense cards up. And some of them are pretty weak, like this one only strikes once for 3 damage plus a little bit. There's a special card. It gets boosted by other blue cards you have. Whereas this strikes 3 times, getting stronger each time. It starts at a 1, goes up to a 3, goes all the way up to a 5. Huge difference in power levels here. And how you decide who gets which one is you have all these cards face up, and each player secretly chooses 2 heroes, and all you're looking at that point is the challenge value. And remember, the harder heroes have higher challenge values. And the highest card plays gets first choice. So if I, like you said, let's say I picked only the weakest guys, like this guy with 3 challenge value, because I would only want to have like these 3 vulnerabilities and have all the flexibility, I'm going to get stuck with these, crappy little defenses the whole time. While my opponents, yes, they do have stronger heroes, but they're getting like crazy cards you can attack 3 times with, each time with a pretty strong attack value. So you have to be considering, you probably want to have some high challenge values. You probably want to have some low challenge values. You want to have a good, basically a good variety in your hand so that you can adjust to whatever kind of the spread of the defenses are.
Yeah, so not only is there a lot of choices within the draft, but you're really getting a different spread of defenses, every game.
Yeah, I mean, even without expansions, we have, I think at this point, another 54 defenses, and they run the gamut from, like really terrible things like this to, here's a guy who strikes for 7 twice, can like defeat the strongest hero in 1 hit. One more thing you have to think about in the bidding phase, and the thing I like about this design, I know I made it, but I mean, just sort of how it accidentally came together, is you can go as deep as you want. Like I play it with my high school students because I'm a teacher, and they'll just like play it in like 10 minutes, just rush through everything. Who cares? Have fun, laugh as they die, and that's all they care about. But I play with like my intense gamer friends, and they can, just really get into the strategy and really think about it. Because here's the thing. You're bidding with 2 heroes each time you're trying to get those defenses, right? As you bid with those heroes, they go face down in your combat pile. And as you're bidding, they're going on top, on top, on top, on top, which means the last hero you bid with is the first hero you fight. The first hero you bid with is the last hero you fight. So you're not only thinking about playing the spread of defenses, about beating your opponents, about bidding the right stuff, you also have to think, crud, what order do I want to fight these guys in? Like if there's this crazy wizard, and like, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to defeat him. You might want to bid with him first just to have him on the bottom so you hopefully don't see him until the game's over. It's just one hero fighting at a time. I fight my hero. You fight your hero. That guy fights his hero. On and on and on. That's one combat round. Next hero, fight, fight, fight. Next hero, fight, fight, fight. And fighting takes like 10 seconds. You just turn your cards, add them up to, you have to add up to 8. And then discard them and keep moving on.
Right.
If I can't beat my hero, I'm done. And, the last person who defeats a hero, even if they haven't gone through their whole hero deck, they're the winner. So you're just, I mean, you can watch any of the play videos on the Kickstarter. When people flip up certain heroes, they'll just groan, they'll shout. Here's the basic idea. It's really similar to the multiplayer. We tried to change as little as possible. So if you remember in the draft, you got 9 cards, you pick 2, you pass them on. So we're sort of creating the illusion of other players in a draft like this. You get 3 cards. You pick 1 you don't want, you're stuck with the other 2. You get another 3 cards. Pick the one you don't want, stuck with the other 2. You just do that 4 times. So you still have the hard choices of the draft. Okay. You just don't have to stare at like 9, 7, all these crazy cards. So you still end up with your 8 heroes. And then the part that just kind of came to me, and it made it nice and easy, because you would think, how can you play a bidding game by yourself? Like, right. That's not how it works. So you still have your 8 heroes. And you flip up 5 defenses. So kind of as though you're playing like 2.5 players, because you're doubling the number of players when you flip defenses. So you've got your 5 defenses from left to right. And if you remember, I said you had this little rank number in the corner of each one, which gives you a general idea of how strong they are. So it's pretty simple. You still pick your 2 heroes that you're going to bid with. And then you just flip up 3 random heroes from the deck. And they're competing with you. And you might ask, what does the AI go for? I don't know what the AI wants, but it's really simple. They go for the highest ranked card, no matter what. So, here I've got a 13 and a 20. They've got a 30, a 6, and a 33. So this 33 guy is going to take the 6 rank. 30 guy is going to take the 5 rank. And then I'm beating their last guy, so I get to choose twice for my 20 and my 13 between these 3 remaining defenses. So you get kind of some competitive bidding with the illusion of competitive drafting, but it's just a really quick, like simple sort of AI system where all you got to worry about is what's the highest number. Oh, and if you get a tie, they just take the leftmost one. So nice and easy, quick way to do it. So then, after that, you end up with 8 defenses, 8 heroes, just like in the normal game, and you just fight it out. And in the solo, since you don't have any intelligent opponents going against you, you just win if you can go through all 8. That should be a little bit more reasonable with that. And the other nice thing is, I like solo games. You can tweak the difficulty pretty easily.
Okay.
So what you do with that is you just draw an extra hero for the AI. If you're playing easy mode, the highest hero goes away. If you're playing a harder mode, the lowest hero goes away. So suddenly their bidding power is slightly stronger, slightly weaker. If you really want to go over the top, you can draw 5 guys, discard the 2 lowest or the 2 highest, depending on whether you want it to be like super easy or super hard. And then you should be getting way better defenses or much weaker defenses, making your life easier or harder accordingly. And that's it, man. Yeah, it's just a slight change to the drafting, slight change to the bidding, and you're good to go.
That's great. So how long have you been designing this game? How long has it been in development?
And this one came together really quickly. It's still been a little while since we signed with Nevermore, but it's probably only been about a year.
Okay.
Which compared to Salvation Road, which was our last project that funded on Kickstarter, that one was probably about 2.5 years. There's another game we're co-designing with Richard Launius right now.
Okay.
And that one has been in one form or another for like 6 years. So, and that one's not even out yet. So this has been by far our fastest design.
All right. So before we finish up here, I guess if you want to say anything to your backers or potential backers, now would be the time to do it.
People have already backed. Thank you so much for your support. Whether you're backing for the awesome artwork or for the quick gameplay, for casual groups, strategic groups. I mean, it's a fun game. We're really proud of it. And thank you so much for your support. For those who are thinking about it, it's ultra cheap. I mean, somehow Nevermore got $2 shipping within the US. So for a base set, it's $17. If you want the free expansions we're unlocking right now, it's $22 with shipping. So, I mean, I don't know. I dropped that on like a lunch, so and it's fairly reasonable for the rest of the world too. We're looking into EU friendly, trying to nail it down before the campaign ends, just to make it as easy as possible for people to get it. Don't want you to go in blind at all. We got the full rule book up, so everything you need to see is up there. We're not hiding anything. We already got some awesome stretch goals unlocked. We're about to get, I think it just announced, like without even telling me, within like another $1,000, everyone's going to get a free PDF of like all the artwork with Rob talking about it, like a free little art book for themselves.
Oh, wow.
And another 5,000, we're going to have free heroes for everybody. I imagine we'll get to at least 65, which is the next stretch goal after that. And that's another free expansion. So people are going to have like 30 or 40 cards, like at least a $15 or $20 value for free with the deluxe level.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's going really well. So jump on the train before you miss it and have to pay, like even at online prices, you're gonna still be paying like another $5 or $10 minimum to get all the expansions people are getting for free right now.
Michael, thank you so much. It was great. I loved having you on the show. And
thank you so much for having me.
Best of luck to you, and I can't wait to get my hands on the game.
Great. Cool, man. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks for sticking around and watching the show. Please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about the game. Also, if you can head over to www.tabletoptorch.com, sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss any of the videos, the articles, or the podcasts that we put out every single week. Trying to give you some information on how to finish your game, how to start, how to get help with marketing, how to get help with Kickstarter. We're talking to designers just like you and finding out what they did so we can bring you that information to help you on your go-around.